If you are pissed off about ICE and you live in the Buffalo area, here are some things you can do about it. Cheektowaga has kind of become ground zero for this entire fight. So the first half of this video, I'm going to do my best to try to explain the situation that's going on in Cheektowaga right now. And the end of the video is going to be a list of steps that you personally can take if you want to do something about it. The whole story of what's going on in Cheektowaga really starts off with this guy. This is J. Dale Shoemaker. He's a reporter in Buffalo who writes for the Investigative Post. Back in the summer of 2025, you will remember there was a bunch of high profile, very unusual deportation cases going on in Buffalo, and Shoemaker was covering them for the Investigative Post. As part of covering all these immigration stories, Shoemaker was talking to lawyers that were representing migrants. He talked to a couple migrants themselves, and in his conversations, he picked up on a weird pattern. So Shoemaker would ask in his interviews, okay, how did this thing all start? What was the first agency that picked you up? Did you get grabbed in an ICE raid at work? Did the Border Patrol catch you on the 190? And he noticed a weird number of people were saying, well, it all started when I got pulled into questioning for some non-immigration issue with the Cheektowaga PD. And that itself was pretty strange, because in 2018, the New York State Supreme Court ruled that state and city cops are not allowed to enforce federal immigration law. Federal immigration law should be enforced by the federal government. But that ruling has a couple of weird loopholes, and one of them is if a state and local cop is questioning somebody, not like necessarily even arresting, but they could be arrested, but not convicted, but just talking to somebody, and the person says something that makes the local cop have a suspicion that this person might be in the country illegally, the local cop is allowed to detain the person and bring them over to Border Patrol, ICE, whoever. They don't have to turn the person over, and they're not supposed to be asking fishing questions to try to trick the person into saying something. And look, there's a lot of different types of legal residencies, and there's a lot of different types of legal visas, and local cops don't understand how any of that shit works. Back before that New York State Supreme Court ruling that said that local cops aren't supposed to be getting involved in this shit, it was not uncommon for a local cop to arrest somebody for unpaid parking tickets, and then in the conversation with the person, find out, oh, they're not a citizen, but they have all this paperwork that says they're allowed to be in the country, but I don't know what any of this paperwork means. I better send them over to an ICE facility. They send the migrant over to the ICE facility. The facility, looks at the paperwork, talks to a lawyer, gets another lawyer come in, they all look at it, they say, oh yeah, no, all this stuff is valid, this is fine. And then they cut the person loose, which wastes all of this police time, which is one of the reasons why these local cops are not supposed to be doing this shit in the first place. They make mistakes. And then on top of all of that mess, if you're a person in the United States on a visa, even if it's a legal visa, it hasn't expired or anything, but you know that a 911 call to the local cops might end you up in an immigration detention facility, you having a legal battle to fight your way back out, you're never going to call 911. You're not going to report when you are the victim of a crime. You're not going to let the police know when you have information about a crime. You're not going to call the tip line. All of these are the reasons why you don't want local PD trying to enforce immigration law. And of course, when your stupid Facebook uncle hears the sentence in 2018, the New York State Supreme Court said, yeah, local cops are not supposed to get involved in immigration enforcement, he's going to say, well, Joe Biden made it so that all illegals are immune from prosecution of all crime. I have gotten wildly off topic. Let's go back to J. Dale Shoemaker. Okay, so where was I? Shoemaker had realized that there were people in the Western New York area who were talking to local cops about non-immigration issues, and somehow or another, mystically, magically, ended up in custody of an immigration agent. And Mr. Shoemaker, being a reporter for the Investigative Post, he decided to go investigate. He wanted to find out how often was this happening? How frequently were interactions with our local police officers ending with people in an immigration proceeding? He could find 0 times that the Buffalo PD had done it. He found that it happened 1 or 2 times with the Niagara County Sheriff and the Erie County Sheriff. Amherst, Lewiston, Tonawanda, they all had done it once or twice. And the Cheektowaga PD had done it 21 times. That's 21 times that this one reporter was able to find out. It may have happened 25 times. It may have happened 121 times. We just don't know. But now we do not know why this is happening in Cheektowaga more than it's happening everywhere else. Maybe the Cheektowaga PD are using a looser definition as to what counts as a suspicious statement about your citizenship. Maybe the Cheektowaga cops are asking fishing questions to try to trick the person into saying something that counts as suspicious. Maybe people are admitting to having fucked up immigration paperwork to other PDs, but the other PDs in the area just say, Okay, well, don't tell me about that. I mean, this is the exact same thing as if, like, you admit to a Buffalo cop that you owe money to the IRS. The Buffalo cop will not arrest you and take you down to the Erie County Jail. Like, the IRS has to do that. But very clearly, the Cheektowaga PD are handling this very differently than all other police forces in Western New York. So Shoemaker published this report on December 9th. On January 13th, an organization calling itself Erie County Women United organized that Pack the Hall event to go read the Cheektowaga Town Council the Riot Act and tell them, hey, whatever's going on with the Cheektowaga PD, fix it. And the Cheektowaga Chief of Police, Chief Coons, his response, we're not going out with ICE agents. So, problem solved. Either he's stupid and doesn't understand the situation, or he's an asshole just trying to play word games to make the whole thing go away, or he's a stupid asshole. Okay, so now you understand what's going on. What can you do about it? Erie County Women United are absolutely crushing it. They have a very good plan on how to move forward. So if I were you, I would just say, the most helpful thing you can do is be helpful to them. There's a really good written description of the situation on their website, like all the stuff I was talking about in the first half of this video. And they got links and citations to other reports, so go read that. They also have a list of concrete, like real actions, steps that they would like to see the Cheektowaga town government do. So go to the Women's United site, read everything there so everyone's on the same page about like what is going on and what we want to do about it. Women's United also has the email address and phone numbers up there of some of the members of the town council. So if you live, work, or shop in the town of Cheektowaga, contact these people, let them know, hey, I'm paying attention to this news story. Also, you can follow Erie County Women United over on IG and here on the Tiki-Taki. Erie County Women United plans on continuing to pack the Cheektowaga Town Hall meetings until something changes. So on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 5:30, people are going to be headed down to that town hall and continue to put pressure on the town council to get their cops back in line. Go to those meetings, even if you don't want to talk. If you just want to like cheer and clap when you hear something that you like, you can do that. Those are open to the public for a reason. Those town halls are also live streamed on YouTube if you want to watch it there. You also can check out this Facebook group. It's called The Kinder Side of Cheektowaga. There's people doing some planning and organizing over there. And then the number one thing that you gotta start doing is you gotta get into the habit of reading local news. Investigative Post by far is like the best paper in Buffalo that is covering immigration issues, but you still need to check in with WIVB, WKBW, and WGRZ. They are all terrible. They're just like police retweet accounts that occasionally do the weather. They don't add any context or analysis to anything, but you got to read them because that's what most other people are reading. So just to keep in the loop.